Okay, we are live. We are live. Let me tell the Discord crew. There, I've pinged them. I'm so happy you can join me today. This is going to be such a fun stream. I have changed around how we do things. I got a little dressed up for the occasion, and we are going to have a fun little stream. Looks like we have 2 live viewers already, and I think a couple of people from Discord are going to join us. And let's get, of course, the most important thing, the music. And yes, I will be finding more music with a different style. You and I get tired of the same music over and over. So if you have suggestions, hey, Pleasing, thanks to join us. We literally just got started. So yeah, let me just put up the title screen as well. Does everyone like the thumbnail? I found this this frog, and I kind of redrew it a little bit, because I like that it had a tuxedo on, so I just kind of redrew that. 3 polygons. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. What time is it for you, 3 polygons? And Martin is here. Great. Nice to see you. It's always good to have people on stream. What was I going to do? You know what? I did some special preparation. I originally was going to go through PowerPoint slides, but 3 hours ago, I decided to build a custom app to present this stream. And I literally, I've been totally into vibe coding. 3 hours ago, literally 3 hours ago, I started using Google AI Studio to build an app just for this stream, because it would give you just a much more classic awards show experience. It would allow me to really customize the look and feel for you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And I'll publish the code on GitHub if anyone wants to reuse it. It's really just a web app that sort of goes into a presentation mode and lets me, it's really customized for identifying categories of winners for an award show, and then identifying the nominees, and then selecting winners, etc., etc. So this is fun. Now, one thing also I want to tell you is we are going to be interactive. So sometimes I'm going to need your help in picking winners. At 2 a.m., oh my gosh. And for Pleasant, it's morning. It's always good that we have such an international audience. So we may revisit things that I decided were winners, okay? And I might have missed out on something. So we want to make sure we cover everything. And we can invent new categories as we go along. So what we do tonight is going to be very similar to what we did last year. I think we did it December 28th. But I want to do it a bit early before, all the, we get too close to the New Year's. And also because people are shopping right now. So I wanted, we did the drawing tablet tier lists last week, and I wanted to follow that up with some more clarity on what I really think are the winners in my mind and in your mind. We added a new category this year. It's the People's Choice Award. So that's where I'm going to take a look at chat and on Discord, and I'm going to just pick the one that you tell me to pick. Okay. So hopefully everyone can converge on one good choice. And it's one tablet. It's not one for pen tablets, pen displays. We do have some categories that are split between. Now, last year also, I think when I started the show, I said this was brought to you by something like the National Institute for Drawing Tablet Research. And so I guess we could reuse that same fake organization name. But yeah, the National Institute for Drawing Tablet Research. Okay, give me a second and let me get the app going. And every now and then I'll show you a peek behind the app so you see what I have to do. Because it's surprisingly complete, but of course, and if we need to, we can even add a feature as we're going. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to just open this up and let me close the PowerPoint. You won't be needing that again. And I think I'm going to move this here or somewhere. I'm going to move this somewhere. Give me a second. I know what I'm going to do. Basically, anything I do on screen is I can export it so that if I need to later, I can pick it back up. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start the show. You won't see anything quite yet, don't worry. Let's see, and then I'm going to full screen it. Okay, so there we go. This is the 2025 Drawing Tablet Awards brought to you by the National Institute for Drawing Tablet Research. People's Choice, 3 Polygon says Moving Pad Pro 14. I anticipate it, having been on the Discord until weeks ago. Well, you may be onto something. But I'd love to hear, when we get to that section, I'd love to hear what you think is the tablet of the year. Okay? So, okay, let's begin. By the way, don't you think the screen is beautiful? It actually began, Google AI Studio actually made this look. I didn't ask for it to look a certain way. It actually created a really nice, soft intro screen. So we have, let me get my mouse in the place. We have 14 categories. Now remember, I can add to the categories and we can change the winners. So this is a very interactive session. But we have 14, I'll just read off. Best pen, best budget pen tablet, best budget pen display, most improved brand, best accessory, best deal, which is a kind of price to performance, best industrial design, best pen tablet, best pen display, best standalone. And for standalone, I have 2 categories, 2-in-1 and mobile device, like an Android device. It has the golden title. Yeah, exactly. I didn't ask for that. I didn't tell it, make it look like that. I did say, literally, my instructions were for it. The first prompt I did was, I am going to be live streaming an award show for drawing tablets, right? And it came up with this. And you're going to see basically the entire look it came up with. I didn't change anything about the look, right? So I am really just pleased. Okay. And then we have tablet of the year, which is like, if you had to pick one, what is the tablet? And I think of this as what is the most, not just the best tablet in terms of performance, but what is the one that had the most influence, that is going to be impactful, that set a new standard in some way, that changed the game. And I think if you've talked to me in the Discord, you know where I'm at with this. People's Choice Award, again, that's where you're going to tell me what to pick. Yeah, it totally did 3D polygons. It got it. In fact, it created not only the app, it actually added tablets. Like, I didn't ask it to put tablets in there. It went out and found like the Huion Fuego and the Intuos and added them as categories. And by the way, it actually picked a best budget pen tablet or best budget tablet. I actually just reused, well, I didn't reuse its choice, but I reused that concept. So it did a fantastic job. So just to go off script for a second, I love the ability that we can use these vibe coding tools to give you a customized experience. Because yes, last year I did this through a PowerPoint and it worked, but it was really hard because, how can I say this? The PowerPoint is a bit clumsy for what I want to do and it doesn't look a certain way. And if I want to change how the overall thing looks, it's kind of a lot of editing. So I'm really falling in love with the idea of just building custom apps for very specific experiences. 3 Polygons asks, which was that, Copilot or Gemini? It was Gemini. It was specifically, it was Google AI Studio, which I've been using a lot. I'd encourage everyone, if you've ever had something that's very repetitive that you always want to do and it's kind of a headache to do, consider asking Google AI Studio just build you the app. It doesn't have to use any AI. None of the apps that I've used have actually used any Gemini features. They've all just been simple web apps or built on React, right? And that's enough. That has solved enough of my problems. Yeah, for repetitive coding, also in cases where you want to build something, but how can I say this? In time you could build it because you'd have to, you'd have to learn React or do all these things and wire up a bunch of controls. Maybe this wouldn't be suitable for, production stuff. Maybe it's got limits to how complex it can be. That's great. I'm not building complex things. I'm building very specific tools to talk and demonstrate and show you things and have discussions about drawing tablets. But yeah, it's made web coding, and I've coded web for a long time, but it's just really up the level of what I can do now. And so I'm always building custom tools for myself. Okay, and then I added some special categories tonight. People's Choice Award, that was a great suggestion from last year. Hera asked for best deal. So that's a kind of price performance thing, so I added that. Someone else, I can't remember, maybe it was Mir, asked, maybe she was talking about effectively what became Tablet of the Year. I think that was her idea. And they also added a Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, it won't be hard for you to guess which company gets the Lifetime Achievement Award, but it may be hard for you to guess which tablet did, okay? And I wanted that because I wanted to celebrate a little bit of history. Let's see, 3 Polygons. I told it today to build a basic HTML5 page, was impressed. It worked through building portals. This thing would have saved a lot of work. I don't want it saving time for art making. Yeah, like we talked about art, AI art on the stream, and I do not condone it. Let me just make sure that's clear. But yeah, it saves a lot of repetitive coding. Nick says, hey Nick, thanks for joining us. What is this, the tablet Oscar ceremony? Yes, that is correct. That is correct. That's why I dressed up a little bit. I do want to print a 3D statue, right? And just, I don't have such a big, I could probably print one this big. I should have thought of that. And yeah, you know what? I'll do that. I will actually print a 3D award as a prop, at least, so I can give it to the award winners. Okay, so let's start and let's have a fun discussion. This is probably a bit too small for you, so I think you should be able to read this But if you can't, I can make my face go down here. But I'm going to leave it here for now. Okay. 3D print of it. Well, I'm thinking 3D polygons, a 3D print of some kind of trophy-like thing that at least I'm not very skillful in 3D modeling, so it'd have to be simple by definition. But I think I could build something that, would at least look half cool. And it could actually serve as a pen stand too. A golden Pepe with a Wacom pen. Yes, that's the kind of thing. Speaking of deals, Nick says, what do you think about recent massive discounts on original Moving? Yeah, I just saw that. Let's talk about, first of all, fantastic. Fantastic. That's much more in line with what it should be. And we'll talk about that why. Let's get to that when we get to the best deal, Nick. If I forget, just remind me. New art pen getting released was kind of a joke, but with more mobile tablets releasing barrel roll with their pens, Martin says, I hope the Pro Pen 4 will have it as a default feature. Look, I'm going to be first of all, I 100% agree with you. I love where that's going. The thing that really concerns me is Wacom does not roll out new pens very often. In fact, remember, it was like the Pro Pen 2 got introduced in 2017. And so it was 2025, so 8 years. So I don't think they're going to do it. Now, having said, so I don't think, sorry, let me clarify what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to roll out a Pro Pen 4. I don't. But with the pressure for barrel roll coming, I think, from other companies, Apple, maybe other tablet brands will do it. I hope they will do a Pro Pen 3 art pen, if that makes sense, right? I just don't think they're going to introduce literally a Pro Pen 4. That's aggressive marketing they're doing then. You're talking about the Moving. Yeah, it's huge price reduction. Really changes, So I believe in, at least where I'm at, it went from $750 to, I'd have to double check. I forgot, but it's a big change. Okay, let's get to the categories. So, and you're gonna love the way it looks, by the way. Okay, so in the category of best pen, Pro Pen 2 came out. Good point, Martin. I had forgotten that the Pro Pen 3 came out earlier than the Intuos Pro 2022. Yeah, so it's possible. Yeah, I could see that. I'm more concerned. We're about to talk about that very topic, Nick. Okay. So, best pen. What are the nominees? So I guess we want to make this a little bigger, huh? Okay, we have the Pro Pen 2, which I think needs to be on this list. Pro Pen 3, and we will talk about the pens, not just go to the winner. The Huion PW600 series, the XP Pen X3 Pro series, the XP Pen X4 series, Senselabs V2 pens. Let's start bottom to top. I'll start with the Senselabs. Of the Pro Pens, I've used my new measuring mechanism tools with the Senselabs V2 pens. Very consistent. Seems like the IF is sort of where the other non-Wacom brands are, at about 3 gram force. I found it to have very relatively consistent maximum pressure. Solid pens. I'm going to go to the left, XP X3 Pro pens. I do like these pens. They just have too much variability in the maximum pressure. They can be like okay to good, but I want them to be consistently good or consistently great. But I do recommend these pens. I do like them. XP Pen recently released the X4 pen, and it only is with one tablet, and you can't even buy it separately right now. So I am hoping that what this means is we're going to see X4 and X4 Pro pens, and that maybe those will have that consistent pressure range that I want. Okay? The Huion PW600 series of pens have been fantastic. I think everyone has seen how much I love those pens and how consistent they are, and they really have upped Huion's offering. Okay? Let's see. Let me get to the items, then we'll go back to chat. Then we have the Pro Pen 3 again, which was released in 2022. Pro Pen 3 is polarizing. I've disliked it, I've liked it. I've used it a lot, I've used it less. Overall, I think it's a pretty good pen, but it does suffer from some problems. let's see. And Nick's asking, do we have to vote for or what? I tried only Pro Pen 2 and Pro Pen 3. Well, just share anything you want to share. And I think your point about the complaints is what we're going to talk about, Nick. Well, you can base on reviews we've watched and others. Yeah, just whatever, I want to get your input. All of you have experienced or seen or formulated, views on these pens. I want you to share that. So, the Pro Pen 3 is a good pen, but it has come with some issues that we've identified over time. And let me just identify the issues. First of all, not everyone's just in love with the way the pen is constructed. First example is the cap of the pen unscrews, and if you can, I guess, maybe prevent it by screwing really tightly, but for me it unscrews. Second, it comes in multiple pieces, so it sort of doesn't have some of that, it doesn't have the same shape as the Pro Pen 2, just in a general way. It is very modular though, that's why it comes in those pieces. You can customize it with changing the weight distribution or not having the weight or keeping the weight in. But it's also had some issues where early editions that I think were produced in China, they have these button strips. The buttons were coming off the strips, and there's apparently no way to purchase a new button strip. So you have to purchase a new pen. The pen is expensive. It's $130. Some people have also noted the Pro Pen 2 tip is a little more sharp, meaning it's sort of, the angle is not quite as wide as the Pro Pen 2. And some people have noticed that the tip breaks off a little bit more. Okay? And for some people, I think the button strips, the entire strip comes off more easily, or they're having a problem with. So those are a bunch of sort of physical problems with the pen that people have noticed. I have not noticed that with my pens, by the way. The thing that most is interesting to me is Cube has measured. He has 2 of these pens and measured them. And I think he found that they have a higher IAF than the Pro Pen 2. Now, I'm not a good measurer of IAF, so I have to trust Cube on this, who's got the most experience and is the most thorough on doing this. So I think with the Pro Pen 2, it could be the best pen ever. But it has issues that I hope we're either going to learn that they're not as prevalent as I think they are, or that maybe Wacom will fix. Now, someone here mentioned that they like the nibs of the Pro Pen 3. I'm not sure I have a strong opinion one way or the other. I'm always scared, by the way, Nick, of mixing nibs with different pens, because I've seen a couple of cases where people put the nib in and it fits, and actually, this is not with a Wacom pen, but a different one, and it just went all the way in the pen and they couldn't get it out. Cube says the Pro Pen 2 and Pro Pen 3 nibs are the same shaft diameter. Okay, so that eliminates one source of concern I have. So then we have the Pro Pen 3. We have a lot of data around the Pro Pen 3. Cube is measured as having classically low IAF, less than 1 gram force. We know it has very high IAF and very consistently high IAF. Cube has measured that. I have measured that. With every Pro Pen 2 I have has a very high IAF, like in the excellent range, or just about, just at the edge of the excellent range, which is like, no, actually, I think all of them are in the excellent range or above, which is above 500 gram force, which is a lot of force. And given all this, as shocking as it may seem, I still think that the winner is the Wacom Pro Pen 2. And it costs less. It was selling for $80 normally, but now I see it going for $100. Don't know why that is. But it's the winner, right? It's got a traditional feeling. It is solid. It doesn't have some of these initial issues that the Pro Pen 3 has. It costs less. And I still think, and it has better pressure range, and I still think it is the king. It's still the king. The Pro Pen 3 is not bad. It just has a few physical issues, and I don't think it's quite as good as the Pro Pen 3. It's very close, and to be honest, when I say this, I think a lot of you, even myself, I can't even tell the IAF difference, right, between the Pro Pen 2 and Pro Pen 3. So I want to make sure when we're separating the two, especially when we talk about IAF, I think some of you can measure it, probably Cube can tell very easily, but a lot of us will not be able to. If you're used to the Pro Pen 2, you might be able to tell. But I know many people cannot. So I just want to share that. Nick says, I would vote for Pro Pen 2 without thinking. It's very good. The price it's back down to 80, which is good. Pressure is great. I love eraser. Oh, and it has an eraser. Sorry. That's another feature it has. Okay. 3 Polygon says, I've tried Pro Pen 2. I tried it. Regular Wacom. I really love the Pro Pen 2. Even while for me is enough and old. Okay, so you're okay even an old in 204, which the grip pen is a good pen. Let's make sure everyone knows that. The grip pen is a fantastic pen. The grip pen is actually the basis for my definition of the word, the class for the max pressure. The grip pen is how I defined good max pressure, because I found it to have consistently around 400 gram force, and that's how I defined it's good, because it was the industry standard for a professional pen. Cube says, I don't love the Pro Pen 2, but the biggest thing that annoys me with the Pro Pen 3 is that step down. Yeah. The step down at the back where the grip drops off. I don't like that. I don't think it looks good. It's weird looking, and it's irritating. I mean, I'm not saying like I pick up the pen and it hurts me or something, but it's just weird, okay? It's not elegant. If there was a different grip that maybe was longer, I don't know. Honestly, I'm being candid here. Again, the pen is good. The Pro Pen 3 is good. But it's a case, I often use it at work. I often said the phrase that some designs are too clever by half. Meaning like they're trying to be a little too cute. Do a little too much. And sometimes the simple solution is the better solution. Okay? That's what I wanted to add. I see a pattern. The 2025 pen tablets have some issues, and the pen has some issues. Wacom reached their top in 2017. Wacom made some improvements, and we're going to talk about them when we get to the pen tablets. But they took chances, and as someone who worked a long time in the software in the tech industry, we're always in a little bit of a weird situation because users want us to do something different and take a risk. If you've ever talked to or follow cars, like, I don't know, Lexus, great example, right? Your users are tired of the same old thing, and then you do something different, and then everyone hates it. Or at least it's very polarizing. Case in point, the way the grills of Lexus cars, I find them atrocious, at least on their SUVs. On their sedans, it's sort of tolerable, but it's very polarizing, right? And they're not giving up on that grill, okay? And so Wacom made some we have to salute them for the bravery. Most people would not change things. They tried a new pen. They made it more modular. They tried changing we'll see when we get to the pen tablet. So I do want to salute them. It's hard to change a design of a classic. And maybe in a few years, we will come back to our next tablet award show, and we'll talk nostalgically of the Pro Pen 3. Proud Platypus says, I have small hands, so the step down doesn't bother me. I do have trouble reaching the third button. I'm not a huge fan of the third button, by the way, for any pen. I most often find that I accidentally click it. I have heard that people who do 3D like 3 buttons because it lets them, I don't know, I guess they just need 3 buttons. But for me, it hasn't proven to be much of a use. In fact, I always disable the third button or simply have it mapped to the second button, but most often I just disable it. Cube says, I think they could have fixed it fairly easily too. Simply provided 2 back screw-in bits, one for the grip with a taper and the current one for without. Yeah, I think it's something they could have addressed, and if I had one desire for the Pro Pen 3, it would be address that grip and address the button things. More specifically, let me be clear. Those button strips and whatever little doodads that come off your pen should be purchasable. You should not have to purchase another pen, okay? That would, I think, go a long way to alleviating some of my stress. Nick says, to be honest, using buttons on pens was never good ergonomically. They made before Pro Pen 3D with 3 buttons. Oh, I forgot They had 3 buttons before. But you hate using 3 buttons, while eraser on back. Yeah, eraser on back is classic. I don't use erasers. I know they're critical for some people. 3 polygons, you do want a 3rd button for undo. Yeah, you see, I think maybe my fingers are just fat, and so I accidentally hit the 3rd button. So it's good to know that for some people it works, and that you like it. MemoDraw, I like the modularity of ProPen 3. I hope they stick with this concept, but improve on the quality. Yeah. Raptor Art Studio. I got the MoveInk 14 Pro in today. Is there a way to program our ProPen 3 button? Yeah, of course. If you're using Mac OS and Windows, easily. In the driver, absolutely. Cube says, Wacom in the past has sold replacements for pen button rockers on request for a small cost. If you contact their support, strange that they've stopped that. Interesting. I didn't know they sold those. About buttons on pens, 3 Polygon says, as an illustrator, I cannot work at all now without pen buttons. Interesting. See, I'm actually considering removing the buttons and working just with a buttonless pen and using my Toolbox instead. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is best budget pen tablet. So basically, this means a tablet that costs less than $100. Okay, and our nominees are, and we can add nominees here, by the way. So the one by Wacom, medium and small. I always think people should always get medium tablets, but I wanted to make sure you knew a small existed. The Huion Inspiroi Frago, medium and small. Notice that the Frago medium does have tilt, and the small does not, which I'm not a fan of. The Wacom Intuos, medium and small. To be honest, that really should not be listed as a budget tablet because it's way more expensive. It's more like $200. But I wanted to include it because it is in the same usage category, but it's expensive. And the Wacom One, medium and small, which is in the right category, but I don't recommend those tablets. I don't think the pressure handling is good. Okay, so there's no way that's going to win. I wanted to add it so you understood why I'm not going to let it win. Okay, so let me just be upfront with you. I have a dilemma on this one. I already picked a winner, and it was either the Huion Inspiroi Frago or the one by Wacom. Okay, so I'm going to give it a second and see if I see any. What if we are on Android Raptor or Studio? So this gets a little complicated, but it depends on the application. So I think in Clip Studio Paint, you can map 2 of the buttons. I'm not sure about the 3rd. It just depends on the specific app. I'm not sure about Krita either. 3 polygons. The font is a bit too small and 1080p as feedback. Oh, you know what? Let me, sorry. Let me do this. This should help a little bit, 3 polygons. Pluzzing, is there anything I missed here that you think should be for a pen tablet? Actually, I do. I know. There is something I missed here. Let me add it here. Okay. XP Pen. Deco. Like what is it? M and MW. Right. Let me just add them. So we can add things on demand. So I think those capture the budget. At least, remember, I haven't tried. It's good? Okay, great. But it's good feedback for me. And if needed, I can actually ask the AI to increase the size of this text in the cards. Any other suggestions? And I'm going to show you my winner, and then we'll talk about why. Believe it or not, I think it's the one by Wacom, medium or small. So this is the CTL 672 for medium, CTL 472 for small. Now this may surprise some of you because these tablets came out in 2019, I believe. But they are still one of my top recommendations for a budget pen tablet. And the reason is, in the budget space, what is it you want? If you are looking at a budget tablet, you want that budget to work, okay? And meaning you want your tablet to be reliable, and you probably don't need anything fancy, okay? And weirdly enough, the one by Wacom actually has good performance. The pen has pretty low IAF, and the what can I say? The pen has low IAF, and it feels a little plasticky, the surface. But this is like the most recommended tablet for OSU players. It's reliable. We have a lot of knowledge about this tablet. The pen isn't very expensive. It is a fantastic choice. There are only two issues with this tablet, one of which is trivial and one of which is, I think you may need to upgrade. And the upgrade one is it does not support tilt. Okay? Which I don't even use tilt. Oh, T.O.'s here. Let me add that to the list, T.O. Let me add that to the list, okay? Thanks for joining us, by the way. Speaking of the UGM908, I actually bought that tablet, I think at the end of 2023, but never used it. It's in a box in the tablet grotto, so tomorrow I think I'm gonna actually do a stream where I just use the UG M908. $100, Nick. It's a $100 limit for budget. But I put some in here that deliberately don't qualify just because I know I'm going to get asked why they were not included. So, yeah. So what I take here is the Wacom One medium, honestly. But to talk about this overall category, a lot of these would actually work for budget tablets, right? The Huion Inspire Fuego medium will work fine, okay? Not the Wacom One M, not the Wacom Ones. The XP Pen Deco M MW also will work absolutely fine, okay? So some of these are good tablets, and I'm gonna test the UG M908. T.O. says it's pretty good, and so I'll try that out tomorrow. I'm sure so we got 4 of these, which would make great choices, okay? So maybe what I should do the next time I do one of these shows is have an ability to mark all of these were actually good, right? Because it's a little unfair to identify one when the field is filled with good candidates, okay? So again, the only ones I would not recommend here are the Wacom One M, okay? I would not recommend that. I do actually recommend the Wacom Intuos medium. However, it's just much more expensive. It's twice as expensive as anything else on this list. Okay, that's a qualification. Let's take a look at the chat. Pluzzing says I'm too overlooked at pressure sensitivity. What do you mean, Pluzzing? You're overlooked? 3 plugins. Yeah, a lot of these are good tablets. If you ask me for 100, I would buy used Intuos Pro M from eBay. I am very cautious about recommending Intuos Pro mediums from eBay. Even if you get a perfectly brand new tablet, the things people have to watch out for are that the driver support might be gone soon, even for a 2017 model. Earlier than that, the driver support is gone. Well, I'm sure, Cube, that the UG908 is probably not like a performance winner, but I wouldn't doubt that it probably is perfectly serviceable. Like, if I'm putting the XP Pen Deco M MW there, then, these come from the same Hanwhan UG family, so they should work pretty similarly, I'm hoping, in terms of just the quality of the drawing. But I see your point. It's probably not going to compete with a One by Wacom, but I think it's perfectly serviceable. I mean, I'm guessing, because the XP Pen Deco certainly is. And I do recommend the XP Deco a lot, actually. A lot of people, they're freaked out by the micro USB port on the Wacom One M, and they want buttons. And this is the one that gives them that in this price range, the XP Pen Deco M. Oh, I see. I didn't understand. I underestimated, Pluzzing says, the One by Wacom performance. Yeah, it's surprisingly good performance in terms of pen pressure range. Again, it's probably a real thing you'll notice the most besides the lack of tilt is it feels plasticky, right? Three Polygon says, love to have the 6 and compare them to actual projects. Yeah, that would be very fun. It's hard to compare tablets because, some of what you think about tablets, you have to do a lot of testing and you have to draw with, and it's also so much subjectivity. Okay, I'm going to move on then to the best budget pen display. So really, this is about $300 or less. Okay. Now, what's interesting here is some of the tablets in this list are actually right now on sale for like $220 or $200. So you can get some amazing deals for best budget pen displays. Proud Platypus says, I got my brother a Deco for Christmas because it has the extra buttons. Yeah, for some people the buttons are a big deal, and its drawing performance is fine enough. Its pen has relatively consistent pressure. The pen is good, actually. It's not bad. Okay, so we have a couple of nominees here, and if there are more, we can add. I might actually add a few while we're here, okay? Because these, again, I add things because they come up in context. 13 touch, not because I necessarily believe. People otherwise will ask me, why didn't you talk about this tablet? And then the Wacom 112. Anything else I should list here? I think if you've talked to me, you know what I'm going to say. Okay? And you know which ones I'm going to say avoid as well. So when I look at all of these, let's just go over some of the ones that have problems. I am going to reevaluate the Wacom 113 and Touch and the Wacom 112. Just because it's been a while and I've learned more about the kind of problems tablets have. And though I used to just say, no, I used to just not recommend them actually. But I'm going to reevaluate them. They're probably okay to get. They're a little expensive though. The Wacom 114 is actually a good, it has decent drawing experience, but if you have to connect it to HDMI, it's going to cost you $100 more. So, you know, and all of the three Wacoms have that same sort of only decent drawing because they have only an okay or decent pen, which is the Wacom CP923, the Wacom 1 standard pen. I'm not a huge fan of that pen. I think you can do better. Which really leaves in this category, and you know, I can't bring every tablet that theoretically would meet the budget because it would just be too many. The Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3, which was introduced last year, and the XP Pen Artist 12 Third, which was introduced this year. This is the one that introduced the X4 pen. And the truth is that, first of all, both of these are good. I just want to make sure both this XP Pen and the Huion are good. I do think, however, the Huion still leads, okay? Yeah, I mean, at budget, for $300, you're not getting a 16-inch pen display, though I wish we could. So I still lead with the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3, but I think it'll be fine in either direction with the Canvas 13 Gen 3 or the Artist 12 Third. I hate saying that third. I'm just going to say third edition or Gen 3. So yeah, for this one though, right now, because it's new, this year, I'm feeling the XP Pen Artist 12 Third is probably the winner this year. Though you could, in a conversation in chat, you could easily convince me to flip it to the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3. Easily, my mind could change. So don't take this as like, oh, this is definitely better. It's just, I picked it because it's the slightly newer one and it comes with a good pen. And if you think it's the wrong choice, I can change it back. Okay, so I'm gonna look at chat and see, are people freaking out about the choice? Oh wow, that's only $200 for the UG UE16. I'm gonna add that. Let's get, let's add this. How do I add it? Oh, I'm gonna go back. And next time I'll add the prices as well. Thanks to you for the suggestion. UG UE16. Yeah, Nick, that's the one with the funny rollers on the sides. I might have mistakenly marked this too, but if both of these are good, the Canvas 13 Gen 3 and the Artist 12 Gen 3, okay? But for right now, I'm going to say this is this, unless we get a lot of pushback in the chat. Free Polygon says, it's extremely personal. I worked on a Cintiq 12 WX for 18 months and was pure suffering. Yeah, I don't like small. I personally don't draw this size, but a lot of people are wondering what to get. So I just want to make sure we cover this category. Now, I think, sorry, let me go back for a second. I think I actually do have, I may actually have this UE16. I have to double check. I'll give it a try. UG sold their previous U1600, discontinued, for only $150. Wow. Maybe I should try a couple of more UGs, honestly. I'm just nervous about support because, I don't see many UG users in the United States. Certainly in our Discord, we just don't have that many UG users. Okay. Most improved tablet brands. So this is simple. You know the brands already. And this was honestly a kind of a quiet year for tablets. Okay. XP Pen introduced a couple pen displays. Huion introduced a couple of pen displays. Sense Labs, I don't think they introduced anything new this year. At least I can't remember that. I could be mistaken. It's oh yeah, UG is the parent company of XP Pen. Some displays share the same XP Pen driver. That's right. Hanvon UG, the parent company, has multiple brands like UG, XP Pen, and Sense Labs. This year for me, the answer was really easy. There's one company that I think improved the most. Now, there are some controversies here, okay? There are some controversies. And the nature of the improvement was they just shipped a lot of things that I like. Not everyone likes what they shipped, but one of the key things they did was address affordability. And in today's world, who doesn't think about affordability? And really, that means Wacom. Look what they did this year, right? We got the Intuos Pro 2025 series. We got the Cintiqs 2025 series. Did the Movink come out this year? I actually can't remember. And they introduced the Wacom Moving Pad series this year. I can't think of any other tablet company that's done more this year. So, it's weird to say improved because improved can sound like, they improved their technology. And the pen hasn't gotten any better because it was already great. They're at the top of the game in terms of that technology. But they actually have improved their offerings quite a bit. They have more products for us to choose from, some of which are very good. So I do think that they deserve the title for, the most improved brand easily this year. Again, it's not about their improvement of reliability, which they're at the top, or technology, which they're at the top. It's what they're actually selling. Last year, the winner was Huion because they got a better performing pen, so their technology improved. Their screens got better, so the technology improved. But Wacom was already good in those spaces. Let's see, Nick says, by the way, did you use it as extended screen or copy? I personally use even these small ones as extended screens, and this probably is not easy to do with 3D apps, but for things like Clip Studio, which is my primary app, I hid the UI, like I hit tab and just saw the canvas. It was tolerable. Look, I guess I could say it like this. If I'm okay using the Movink 11, I'm okay, at some point using a 13-inch tablet too. Okay. Cube's comment is, after almost a decade of not doing much, Wacom wins the award for doing the most. This was a very busy year for Wacom. Very busy year. Okay, best accessory. Now this is where you please tell me if I should add things. But basically, here's what I see, okay? I see we have a bunch of remotes from Wacom and Huion and SenseLabs. Some of these are old, and some of these are relatively new, like the SenseLabs one, and some are really new. So when I say Huion key dial remote, it's the new one that came with the Huion Canvas 20 Pro 24 Gen 3. Okay. Yeah, they became much. Yeah. Let's take Tio's comment here. Wacom's main improvement is that they provided a lot of value for the money. Shocking statement. But yeah, absolutely. $100 for MovingPad Pro 14 versus Samsung and iPad price is significant. Absolutely. I've said this many times. So I said it originally about the Cintiq 2025s, and I'll say it now about the Wacom moving pads. They really changed the question from why should I buy this Wacom device to why not buy it? Because it's just in the price range where it gets really tempting. And I think that's good. It lets us have some of the cachet of Wacom's brand without feeling like we overpaid. Because I'll be honest with you, I love the Cintiq Pro 22, but that's $3,000. And let me just be honest with you, that's paying a lot for that tablet. That's not, I don't think it's worth it for a lot of people. It's worth it if someone else is buying it for you, at your place of work, but not if you have to buy it. Everyone knows me. It's Turbox. Turbox Elite, Turbox Elite Plus. So the Turbox with their Elite Plus model. So I have 6 Turboxes, by the way, for strange reasons. I think I have 6 Turboxes and the Turbox Lite, or 5 Turboxes and the Turbox Lite. But anyway, I have a lot. They recently announced they're going to add support to an existing device, the Turbox Plus Elite or Elite Plus. I forgot the name. They're going to add Android support for that. So with the Wacom moving pads that I like so much, I'll finally be able to use this is my number one device. I hate drawing without it, okay? I hate drawing without it. Yes, 3 polygons, it is a little expensive. Nick says, Moving Pad Pro 14 is big, but unfinished instant display is broad. Yes. I'm writing down my review for the Moving Pad Pro, and that's a big topic in the review, in my notes, right? And same the comment about the normal drivers and shortcuts. Yeah, it is a problem. Pluzzing says, this somehow reminds me lately that I barely use my XP Pen remote. It took me, I think, 9 months, and I gave up 3 times to learn how to use the Turbox. So it's not an easy investment. You got to learn. Let's see. Polygons. The Samsung Ultra was 14 inches and too expensive for what it provides. I'd agree. Cube says, one thing I don't see talked about much for these remotes is whether they save to device to avoid driver conflicts. It sucks if you can't use your brand one remote and with your yeah. They gotta do this differently. I think some do. I can't remember which brand that they let you install the driver for the tablet separately from dealing with the shortcut. Basically, just to summarize it, the shortcuts or the remotes or whatever should be totally independent of which tablet you have. Okay? Sure, it's okay if they light up more features with the tablet you have, but they should be completely independent for all the normal features that aren't tied to the tablet. So that's why I like the Turbox, because it doesn't matter which tablet I have, it just applies in general. Okay. So what's the best deal? So this is a tough category because it really applies to a lot of tablets and prices. Okay. So we may have to think about breaking this apart, but let's explore. So as you can tell from the list, they span a lot of different types and prices. I think the Canvas Pro 19 is actually a pretty good deal in the sense that you get a lot. It's not cheap at all, but you get a lot for what you get. You get 2 pens, you get touch, which is pretty rare. You get, I think, a pretty good screen. Some people describe it as a little bit soft. I think it is a good deal in that sense. It was the first tablet that gave us something approaching like a Cintiq Pro. Remember, the thing it's competing against is like $2,000, okay? And is smaller, meaning the closest Cintiq, modern Cintiq Pro is a Cintiq Pro 14, which is $2,000. And this is 19 inches and it's giving you like almost everything the Cintiq Pro has. So I think it's a good deal in that sense. The XP Pen Artist Pro 19, I think Tio has mentioned many times that he would, between the two 19 inches here, he'd pick that one because the cross is even less and it just gives up touch and the screen is sharper. Okay. The Wacom MovingPad 11 is, I think, it's a good deal. I think it's not cheap. It's $450. Is that right? Yeah, $450. And you don't get the highest performance, but what you do is get the best drawing experience, right? Then we have the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3, which again, I think is, what, $250, $270, but right now it's like $220. I think you get a lot of value for that. And then we have the Frago M, another Huion. It's actually a little more expensive than it should be, but you get a pretty decent drawing experience. And then the XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. So it's a wide field, very diverse tablets. And so I think there's going to be controversy on which one I pick, but ultimately, oops, I didn't pick it. So let me pick it. Hang on a second. I thought I did already. Let me just double check. Give me a moment as I review the, where is it? Oh, I did best deal. Okay. Let me pick it. I think this truly represents the most value I've ever seen recently for a tablet. Okay. So let's get back to the best deal. Okay. So here it is. The best deal. Yes, always there's some sort of technical snafu. I think it's the XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. Costs, like, it's discounted now to like $500, sometimes a little bit above $500. I can't think of any other tablet that provides so much for that price. Okay? Like, getting one this large is kind of amazing for $500. Again, I'm talking about the discounted price. So you can't always get it at that price, but most often you can find it discounted that way. The pen is decent. You don't get two pens, sure. Screen is fine. It's 2K resolution, so 2560 by 1440. I think it's a tremendous tablet. And I've had it. I do draw on it. Not recently because I've been testing out the Cintiq. But I really do like this. That is a very old comment. Does anyone still watch the Oscars? Interesting. Nick Tyler says, Artist Pro 22, no questions asked. The price, yeah, it's impossible to beat the price here. What's really funny is that XP Pen rarely, like, they don't talk about this tablet. They don't heavily market it. They don't heavily mention it. And it's probably the thing that it's one of the pen displays I actually recommend the most to people. I don't even see that many reviews about it. I don't think Tio did one. I don't think Brad did one. I don't think many people, I can't even think of a single review about this tablet, but it deserves it. I've covered it on a live stream. So I feel like I did my part, at least a little bit, but tremendous amount of value. Okay. So I definitely recommend exploring this one. Probably in our Discord, I've set at least 5 or 6 people in this direction. 3 Polygon says, I mean, support could be a problem, yes, but in super cheap tablets, it's not like most people send for replacement, etc. UG could be a good addition. Yeah, Tio praised it too. Good. I didn't know that. They should be very proud of this. I wish XP Pen marketed this more, honestly. I think it's a better deal than the 24-inch tablets they have, right? By the way, I want to tell you something about the 24 inch. I have the 165 hertz. I've been using it with at 165 hertz recently because I'm using it as a monitor for my Zorin OS install, and I'm not seeing that warm display problem as much or at all. So I'm going to reevaluate that. Maybe that was just a weird thing that happened one time. Just wanted to mention that because I brought it up in the context of this tablet. So yeah, great. This is really what I would call where you'd want tablets to be in terms of price, okay? Something this good at $500 is where life should be for us because it's reasonable to spend $500 for a tablet like this, okay? That's my feeling. And think if XP Pen improves their digitizer and gets rid of, whatever issues are there. And this would be a beast, absolutely a beast, right? So look forward in a couple of years, this could win, right? Just really be a very popular tablet. Martin says, probably best value in history, big pen display, great pen, great connectivity. Yeah, connectivity is not to be underestimated. It's very simple connectivity. It's not complicated, no 3-in-1 cables. You know exactly how to connect it. Includes a stand, yes, another great thing. Edge glass that's not blurry. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Okay. Okay, Pleasing is checking. Okay, best industrial design. This means the design of the tablet, right? Like this is an old tablet. What's it look like? What's it feel like? Does it feel good to touch? This isn't about drawing performance at all. This is just the way it looks, how light bounces off the tablet. And I will tell you this right now. To me, and I said this last year as well, the winner, honestly, is among different brands. Is Wacom's released some new tablets. I don't think they're good looking. I mean, but they're not special. The new Cintiqs just look like slabs, which is no complaint. They're just slabs. The Huion Canvas Pro 19 had a new look, which is kind of cool. Not super special. I'm a little disappointed that the new Canvas Pro 24 Gen 3 doesn't. It has the same body as the old one. Sense Labs, pretty good. They're probably toward the top of this list, but it's actually XP Pen, especially with the XP Pen tablets that just look really good. Okay, I think they're just very sleek, very slick, and yeah. And Martin says it right. XP Pen is the only brand with personality, and they are the only brand with display tablets, pen displays, that are fighting the bezel war. They're waging a one-brand war with bezels, fighting for bezels. Everyone else has given up on big bezels except XP Pen. So we should salute them for their dedication to this. And I don't say that ironically, I really do say that. Some people need the bezels. We've learned that this past year. For some people, bezels are important. And I learned that lesson myself. Yeah, whoever their designer is, they should just make sure that person gets more. And I think also other brands should, I don't know, they should get some let some designers work on their tablets a bit more. I think, just as an example, I used to follow car designs a lot because I was in a car, and I remember reading that. I think it was, what was it? Kia. It's a Korean car company, I believe. So Kia or somebody, or maybe it could have been Hyundai. They hired a former BMW designer. Okay. And if you look at a Kia today, and I haven't seen a recent Hyundai, but their designs for their cars are looking really slick, right? And the point I'm making there is there's nothing that prevents a car from looking good. Some manufacturers just they want to segment their brands to make their cars look bleh. lots of American car makers. They don't want their cars to look very nice, very slick. But you take a look at Kia. They make their cars, which are meant for consumers. They look really good. I'd like tablets to do that, right? I'd like Huion, for example, to compete more on the look of the tablet. Okay, I'm not saying do anything crazy. Well, maybe, but make them look attractive, interesting, have a personality, as Martin says. Pleasing says, I do see people complaining why XP Pen have bezels in this less bezel society. It's true, these days people don't want bezels, but Proud Platypus says, bezel haters being paid off by Pop Socket. Pleasing, I need large bezels. Oh, 3 Polygon says, I need large bezels. Where am I supposed to rest my large cup of coffee? Nick says, maybe I'm the only one who doesn't care about design, bezels, and shape of buttons for display. Yeah, I mean, look, buttons are highly personal, right? But I will say, I think, because pen displays look like televisions, and because we're so used to talking about iPads and phones, we are in a bezel-less society that is anti-bezel. And for all this time, we've assumed that's the right way to go. Maybe that still is, but I have to admit this year, because of the Intuos Pro 2025, I learned my lesson, that there is a value to bezels. It's like that old song by a group called Cinderella. You don't know what you got till it's gone. And that was the lesson I learned this year. That's a song from the 80s, by the way, so many of you may not remember that. Okay. Best pen tablet. Best pen tablet. I want to get the old Cintiq Pro, Nick. I do. Let's see, Nizio says, Huion needs to start using their icon, pen crown, instead of the Huion logo. Yeah, I do like that pen crown thing. I do think it's cool. Because the name means something related to that. So it's a good logo. Pleasing likes big bezels. Pen design also counts. That's true. That's true. And to be fair, Wacom did try something interesting, Xiaogi, with their Pro Pen 3, even though, I still prefer the Pro Pen 2 design. Okay, best pen tablet. This is gonna get controversial. So, let's just talk about what's on the list. Huion Frago M. It's actually, in some sense, it's the best pen tablet Huion has right now, because it has the best pen. And the reason I bring it up is a discussion point. There's no way it's going to win this category, okay? There's just no way. Because it's just a very plain Jane, slightly overpriced pen tablet. What needs to happen is Huion introduces the PW600 series pens to their pen tablets. And then it would probably really compete in the category, right? But I wanted, again, to put it here as a talking point, because I don't want to miss a brand. What about the XP Pen Deco Gen 2? And there's several models, like the MW, LW, XLW. The W means wireless, of course, so it's basically medium large and extra large. These are very good. These are very good. I do like them. The pens are okay to good in terms of pressure. But really, let's be honest with ourselves. We all know we all know the real battle here. And the real battle is being fought between Wacom and Wacom. The other two cannot compete. They're not going to win this category, okay? It's Wacom versus Wacom. The Intuos Pro 2017 versus the Intuos Pro 2025. This is tough. This is tough. Well, let's talk about that, Martin, about the Deco Pro Gen 2, because there are things I'd like to say about it. But let's deal with the dilemma that's posed here. The Intuos Pro 17, Intuos Pro 2025. I have to be honest that not everyone likes the Intuos Pro 2025. I mean, we've talked about this many times. Some people really dislike it. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I could tolerate it the first month I used it. Now I use it. And when I switch back to the 2017 model, I sort of see some things about it that I didn't notice before, how thick it is. I do appreciate the bezel, I'm not gonna lie, but it bothers me less that it's gone. I'm definitely not a fan of the button placement and the dials placement on top. I think that did not work out as well as they expected. On the other hand, the Intuos Pro 2025 is going to be supported in their support lifetime for 10 years. I expect the Intuos Pro 2017 to drop off in terms of support in 1 year, maybe 2 years. So I feel weird saying it, honestly. I really feel weird saying it. But for me, I would give the Intuos Pro 2025 my tablet, best pen tablet, honestly. And it's not without its flaws, and the pen has its flaws, but overall, I still think it is the best pen tablet. Many of you, I would say this, for those of you who already have a 2017, keep it. Do not upgrade, because you're not going to get any big improvement. In fact, it's all upgrading from the 2017 model to the 25 is all risk. All you risk is you're just going to risk you don't like it. Okay? So don't upgrade. Do not upgrade. Let's see, Tio has a comment. Pen tablet for me is probably Huion Fuego 2. It does everything well and works with, it works great with Android. Thank you for Tio for mentioning that. It is a good, I don't think it competes with the Intuos Pro, but it's very good, right? So I want to recognize that is why I'm so excited. I assume Huion's going to introduce the PW600 series to their next wave of pen tablets in 2026. I was hoping they'd do it in 2025. They didn't. But if they do that in 2026, it is a brand new battleground. Okay? If they do that next year, conceivably, I'm just making this up, okay? I don't know. If they added the PW600 series to the Fuego or the Giano, probably, which I love the Giano, that would be a real contender to fight for these versus the Intuos Pros. Absolutely. Okay? And they would have a chance of winning this category next year. If XP Pen Deco Pro could improve their pen consistency for their max pressure, they would also be top contender to win. But they're both good, right? They're both good. Let's see. Martin says, but I don't know, the new Intuos dropped the design quality. You think the quality dropped? Nick says, used Intuos Pro 2017 beats anything for the price. It does. Look, honestly, let's suppose the driver thing was not an issue for you. And for the sake of argument, let's say the Intuos Pro 2017 was $100 or 50% the cost of the 2025. If the driver thing was not an issue, I would just say get the 2017. Seriously, I would do it. The pen is cheaper and the pen is better. It has the bigger bezels, which we now realize are good. For a lot of people, they're going to like the button placement on the left, okay? So it's a great choice. It's just we have to deal with the fact that driver support's going away. Martin says another good point. The Intuos Pro 2025 also supports these UD-EMR pens. By the way, all of them, Martin, all of them supported other Pro pens. But the Intuos Pro 25 supports UD-EMR pens. So you can get these cheap pens. They're not great, but they're good for a backup. But it still feels like a sidestep, not a step forward. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a fair comment, which alludes back to the fact that, Wacom, there's a Wacom civil war, okay? It is a true civil war here. Nick says, I love the design of the first gen of XP Pen Deco Pro with the roller and buttons. I don't think I ever used it. I almost bought one that had a curved surface swipe. Oh, like it was bent? Like warped? Interesting. So yeah, that was the best pen tablet for 2025. Again, controversial choice. Next year, we should see Huion really do strong in this category. Okay, best pen display. And again, we can add things. I don't know why there's an empty one here. Anyway, we have the Wacom Cintiq Pro 22. I wanted to include this one because this really is, if you want to go super high end, I love this one. It is crazy expensive. It's $3,000. I don't like the fact that the fan causes noise, but you know, it is one of the best ones. I think the 2017 is also good. I really should list it along with it. Canvas Pro 19 is still doing great. It's still, we've had a bunch of people on the Discord get the Canvas Pro 19 and they love it, right? So I still recommend it. I think it's definitely in the running for the best pen display. Senselabs pen display, I think it's pretty good as well. Wacom Move Ink 13. A bit of a curveball here because this is a 13-inch tablet. It's a bit expensive. I think recently someone's, in the chat, someone says the price is, it was a bulge on the surface. Okay, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Moving 13, if you're looking for a portable one, I used to be really into this tablet, but honestly, for the price, I'd probably tell someone just get a moving pad instead. Oh, Xbox, man, look at this. I got a 2025 Wacom Cintiq 16 for $400. Oh, wow. Because the sale and 200 worth of Amazon cards. And I was leaning towards the Huion Canvas 16 Gen 3, but your reviews and gift card. Good, I think you made the right choice. I think you got the best tablet for that money, absolutely. I have no doubt about that. It's good to hear that the reviews helped out. So Wacom Cintiq 16, 24, 24 touch. They're great, I love them. I love them, right? Huion Canvas 13, 16 Gen 3, good tablet. Everything here is good, honestly. Everything here is good. And then the XP Pen Artist Ultra 16. I don't have this one, but Tio had some. Hey, Hera, nice to see you. So all of these were good. I think this was a strong field, really strong field. Maybe next time, I don't know, I should do it for different, I should do subcategories for size. But we don't want to just replicate the tier list either. We want to make decisions, so we can't always, I think it's these models. So I listed them as a group. It's the Wacom Cintiq 16, 24, and 24 touch. Again, I think this changed the game. Look, they still deliver the best drawing experience. The screens are huge improvements over the older Cintiq models. They're affordable, which is probably the biggest surprise. Right? They are, I think for a lot of people who are like, oh, I really want the Cintiq Pro, unless you need that fancy color stuff they do, which I think very few of you do need, these are the best choices. And I think this places a lot of pressure on Huion and XP Pen to deliver more. Okay? The Pro 22, yeah, you're right, it does. It does. I'm gonna add it actually. Because you're right, it does absolutely deserve to be in the category. So I'm going to add it in the category. How do I add it in the category? Let me just add it. XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. This one has appeared in several lists here, and I think it deserves that. Okay. And again, this is just an empty slot. I'm not sure how that empty slot got there. But yeah, I think these won the year for me. And this is actually another kind of Civil War topic, because instead of just trying to figure out why should you buy a Cintiq Pro, it's like, well, why not just get this Wacom, the Cintiq? Let's see. Hera says, it's good to see you, Hera. Always love when you join the streams. I will accept this though, since the prices of the Cintiqs are great for Wacom. Yes, yes. And what I'm hoping this does is, again, I hope Huion and XP Pen will deliver more value so that people will start saying, oh, I'd rather have this new Huion Canvas, right? Because you have to fight against the Wacom brand, right? Maybe I would vote for the new Cintiq Pro if it wasn't that much more. Yeah, they're just way too expensive. I mean, they're great tablets except for the fan noise, but these I think clearly win for me. There was a Japanese pro manga artist who absolutely raged by the removed bezels of the 2025 pen tablets. Do you have a link to that? I think we've had at least one person in the chat had some pretty strong feelings about the bezels too, and I don't blame them. By the way, I think Joggy did not like that, but I enjoy seeing rage against the bezels because it's just I use the tablet a certain way, so when other people discover new issues with them, it's always a learning experience for me. Okay, what do we got next here? Best standalone. So I separated this into 2-in-1 and then Android or mobile. So I don't have a big list here, honestly. I just have the ones I tried and I can talk about. That's right here. The PW600 is great, but still can't beat the Pro Pen 3 or Pro Pen 2, right? I mean, and yeah, you like your Huyans. Okay, so I don't use a lot of these 2-in-1s. I just have a couple. So I'll talk about those two. I use the Microsoft Surface Pro and the Samsung Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360. The way I'd say this is the Surface Pro drawing experience is probably okay if you're marking up like a PDF or something, maybe whiteboarding. I like the device. I have a lot of Surface Pros, okay? But I do not like the way the pen works. Too much wobble. The Samsung Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360 is a good laptop. I like the screen. I think it's an OLED screen. I can't remember. It comes with the S Pen. It will work with any UDMR pen. So as Hera points out, yeah, it's the only answer. It is the only answer, right? It's a good laptop. It doesn't get loud like the Surface Pro, or at least the Surface Pro 8, which I use. Surface Pro uses Glazed Avocado. I don't know what they use. I don't know if it's still N-Trig or not, because they renamed it to like MPP, I think. This 2-in-1, yeah, this run Windows, yes. Yeah. I'm hoping this, these ARM Surface Pros will do better, but like there's still all these like compatibilities with ARM on Windows, so I'm not too sure about that. So yeah, for me, it's very clearly Samsung Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360. I use it all the time. I use this all the time, by the way. My only negative about it is it only comes, at least in the United States, you only get it with 16 gigabytes of RAM, so that's a little bit of a limitation. But yeah, what could make it better? A better pen. You get the S Pen or any other UDMR pen, you get an okay-ish, decent experience, but not great. Oops. So best standalone, we have mobile devices, and there's a lot of them here. So of course we have iPads, Samsung S11, Galaxy Tab S11, Wacom Moving Pad 11, the XP Pen Magic Drawing Pad 2025 edition, XP Pen Magic Notepad, and the Wacom Moving Pad Pro 14. Okay, so we have the Moving Pad here twice, Moving Pad 11 and the Moving Pad Pro 14. They both have the strong experience. I'd say it like this. The XP Pen Magic Drawing Pad and Notepad have terrible tilt, but otherwise they're actually pretty decent tablets. But if you're really looking for just a generic Android tablet, the Samsung S11 or the Magic Notepad or even the Magic Drawing Pad will work great. If you're into the Apple ecosystem, the Apple iPad will work great. But if you want the best drawing and the best, the best overall experience, to me, there's no doubt that the Moving Pad Pro wins, okay? Moving Pad 11 is great, but it's just a little underpowered. It's more like a Samsung S6 Lite. And sometimes the Moving Pad 11 is the better choice because carrying this 14-inch thing around is a bit of a hassle sometimes. It's not suitable for every situation, right? You have to be using it at a desk. The Moving Pad 11 is great for portable, so you could also put the Moving Pad 11 here, but again, I think overall the Wacom Moving Pad Pro is the clear winner. Just stick the moving pads together and give them both the crown. That's fair. I probably should have done that. Nick says, I was considering the Magic Drawing Pad and then the Moving Pro 14, but I'll wait for now. Yeah, you can't go wrong with waiting. You know, you can't go wrong because something good will actually appear. Okay. So what is the tablet of the year? We're almost toward the end now, by the way. What is the tablet of the year? And this is a tough one, right? Because I tried to take everything I observed and put it into one thing, okay? Across all categories. And when I think about tablet of the year, I think about, I'm gonna put my face here. I think about not just drawing performance. Of course, it has great drawing performance. I don't just think about having a good screen. I think about a totality of things, okay? All the things I've ever mentioned on this channel, I talk about. The pen, the driver, tilt compens, all those things come in. No tablet is 100% perfect on all of those things. I also think about some things that are not as tangible, right? Which tablet sets a new bar? Which one influences the industry? Which one was the most refreshing change? Okay? Which one shocked me in terms of what I thought about it or the company, right? Which one? You understand? There's lots of intangibles when I think about like what is the tablet of the year? The most you can think about the most influential tablet. Okay. And honestly, when you look at this list, actually, let me take a look at the comments, then we'll look at the list. Oh, Harry, you've had a good experience with the MVP 11's performance. Interesting. Tablet of the year, Harris says, is the moving pads. They are iconic. Tablet of the decade. Well, I've only had this channel for 3 or 4 years, so I can't quite say a decade yet. Apple iPad, Nick, and all Rotten Tomatoes flying. Yeah. Miss Spike Fan. Speaking of Moving Pad Pro 14, mine says failed to send connection request. Did the tablet say it or Clip Studio Paint say it? And MS Spike Fan, make sure you join the Discord, okay? In case we need more details. So I said, let's see. Tablet of the year for me, Hugh Teo says probably Moving Pad Pro 14, XP Pen Ultra 16, which has everything as a pen display. Yeah, it's a good contender. Memory Draw, honestly, the new Cintiq 1624 changed my view. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I felt the same way, 3 polygons. Canvas, yeah, I wasn't ever gonna put the Canvas slate. Hey, Cube, hang on to that thought. We've got something related to that coming up, okay? Hang on to that thought about the WT460. Okay, so what? I think we all know what I'm gonna say. Hera does. It's the Moving Pad Pro 14. This has become a real Walkopium session, hasn't it? But really, I do feel this way. I think, and I guess it's also just, there's a halo effect about all the releases Wacom made this year. This thing is really great, okay? Is it perfect? No. I'll tell you a story, just so you're on the same page with me. In 2005, I bought a car, a 2005 Audi A6. And that car I owned for 15 years. That car leaked oil at a rate that I'm sure was putting me on the map of the Environmental Protection Agency. That car, the power steering gave out on me one time in the last couple of years. Like as I was driving, the power steering just gave away. That car, when I would change left lanes, that light would keep blinking. And I couldn't get it stop blinking. It always have to jiggle it around a little bit. But I love that car. Like the totality of the experience of using that car was so good. I was able to overlook some flaws, okay? And that's the way I feel about the MovingPad Pro 14. Does it have everything I want? No. Does it have the things that it must have? Yes. Does it fit its role very well? Yes. And by role, I mean, is it the best generic Android device for doing anything? No, of course not. Is it the best drawing tablet standalone? Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. There is not a drawing tablet on the market that comes close. Now, the MovingPad 11 is tied here because it has the same drawing experience. But when you consider the entire package, this is absolutely the best. And I was super happy about the Wacom Cintiq 16, 24, and 24 Touch this year, the 2025 editions, because that was like, oh, Wacom is getting competitive again. And I think this really blew me away. I did not expect it. I thought this tablet, the MovingPad Pro 14, was going to cost like $1,200, $1,500, super expensive. If you had told me it was going to cost $2,000, I would have believed you, okay? So this, I think, Wacom deserves absolutely that this was the tablet of the year. This gave us everything I wanted. Now, do I want more? Yeah. Do I want a more powerful MovingPad Pro? Sure. Do I want one with better speakers? Yes. Do I want instant pen display to work better and easier? Yes. It's awful to set up right now. It took me an hour to get it going. Should it have more features like DisplayPort in and DisplayPort out? Yes. But all of those things I'm complaining about, all those things I want they're nothing in comparison to what it delivers for me, which is a great drawing experience. Okay? So that's why I think for me it really does win the tablet of the year. And you could put the MovingPad 11 in this bucket as well. Okay, let me take a look at the comments. Let's see. Harris says, if there's anyone voting while I'm gone, add a KP19 MVP11. Okay. Memory draw. Generally, 2025 Wacoms are really great. They are. This is quite a year for Wacom. MovingPad Pro has generated like trillions of posts in Discord. It is true. It is true. Oh, hey, Yafo. That new Huion 27 looks sweet. It is big. Honestly, I don't know how many people are going to get it, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty good. Fantastic question, BHP. It does not outperform the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is a monster, like an absolute monster. Whatever magic Apple put into that M4 chip, I have the M4 iPad Pro. It's unbelievable. I'm sure even like the older M chips from Apple Silicon chips are much faster than the MovingPad Pro's chip, honestly. But that's why I say if you want a generic purpose device, iPad's a great choice. If you want a drawing experience, easily, I would recommend the MovingPad Pro. That's why I always say, if you get the MovingPad Pro, don't treat it like an Android device. Just treat it like a specialized drawing tablet that you can use standalone. Even though you can watch YouTube on it, right? Even though, not all, but many apps, normal apps will just install on it. Just treat it like a drawing tablet. And that's, especially with the MovingPad 11, same thing. Because if you try to evaluate it like an iPad, it's not going to be as good as an iPad for general purpose tasks. Let's see. Nick says it's better, but still lacking new things to be called Pro. And replace the old Mobile Studio Pros, which used Windows. If they improve instant display, yes, it will be one and only undisputed creative. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you. It really made me think, honestly, that, how can I say it? Lots of us are either using Windows or Mac OS as our art operating system, right? And it made me think, quite honestly, if the device, and I would be okay with it being a little bit thicker, actually, to be completely honest. If it could fulfill my needs, more memory, more storage, for being my art workstation that I also use as a tablet, I could totally see that. Even if it was just Android, okay? I could absolutely see it. I don't know if they're ever going to go in that direction, but yeah, MovingPad Pro 17, yeah. But again, it'd have to do more things. It'd have to work as a pen display and a pen tablet. It'd have to be my one creative slab, okay? And then I could see it. MovingPad Pro is still on my list, Yafo says, but I went with the M5 iPad Pro for Photoshop Clip Studio. Yeah. Yeah. Just at least try to get your hands on one to just see what it's like. Let's see what you think. Okay, so we're down to our last two categories. So this one's People's Choice Award. So this is where you will just tell me what goes on the list, okay? So I'm just, there's no nominees because you're gonna tell me what to put in, and then we will pick, okay? So I'm just gonna look in the chat. Let's see what people vote for. So why don't I go, let me get some water and I'll come back and take a look and see what people are nominating. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Well, no one has submitted any nominees. Not that I can see. Yeah, are you talking about the XP Pen Ultra, Artist Pro Ultra, or Artist Ultra 16? I think Tio said it was pretty good. Okay, I'm not seeing any nominees, so what we're gonna do, actually, let me get my face back on here. So we're going to, I gotta prep something, because if I don't, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about, because you may not have seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's not gonna make any sense. Let me find my resources, hang on. Let's see. PTK X70 probably caused the biggest splash for me in the OC community this year around to display tablets. So I'll put PTK on the list. So for everyone that knows, that's the Intuos Pro 2025. That's what Cube was talking about. X70. Okay. Oops. I'm going to put the word Wacom there. Oh, I can't edit these. Okay, that's fine. I forgot to add the ability to edit them live. I mean, I can't edit them, but I have to move screens. KP19, okay, for Tablet of the Year. Oh, sorry, this is for People's Choice. Huion Canvas Pro 19. Next time I'll also add like a predefined list that I can pick from, so I don't always have to type in the names. What else? Wacom moving pad, of course. Pro 14. I'll go ahead and just add the moving. Cintiq Pro 22. Okay. So, I don't know if we have. You know what? Here's what I will do. I'll actually do a poll on YouTube and Discord. There's some votes now in the chat. Yeah, I'm collecting them, but I think we probably need some time to actually pick the winner here. Cintiq Pro 27 is not silent. Yeah, that's right. It definitely makes noise. It's the loudest of these Cintiq Pros. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm gonna have to edit these. Hang on. You'll see what this app actually does now. Watch. See it had. Oops. So you can't see it. Okay. My mistake. My mistake. You can't see the actual app. So next time I'll add this. Wacom. This is the Moving Pad Pro 14. Okay. Let's get back there. People's Choice Award. It's definitely not silent. None of the new Cintiq Pros are silent. I can guarantee you that. You can make them have less noise by changing the brightness, but they are not silent. Okay, let me do that. I'll put up these and others. People can submit. I'll make a poll actually, one unified poll, and I'll ask people to just vote in the poll. They can submit what they want, and then I'll announce it later. That way, it's going to be easier to handle because I don't want to just, I want this to be a community thing. Maybe also I'll let people rank their top 3 choices, so it's not just one. And you know what? Now that we're talking about it, I'll have them do it by type. That way there's some, we can actually talk about several things. Okay. Now I got to prepare for the next part. Now you got to give me a second because again, I need to show you some photos because if I don't show it to you, it's going to be, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, wait, okay, now this is a new category. This is my Lifetime Achievement Award, okay? So, in the Oscars or whatever, they give Lifetime Achievement Awards to somebody who never won an Oscar, but really the body of work is pretty impressive. And I think they gave one to Peter O'Toole, who, those of you know, he was in a very famous movie called Lawrence of Arabia, which I love. Also, Goodbye, Mr. Chips, which is an excellent movie. Oh, and The Ruling Class. The new Cintiq 24 is silent, Jaffo. It is silent, yes. My theory about the silent, I'm not sure. I feel like there's some relationship between the Cintiq Pros being brighter and they need to cool that down. That's why they have the fan, so it's just a mess. You're on the right track, Hera, with Intuos 3. By the way, I can only give this award to the winner one time because, next year it'd be boring to give the same winner, even though it technically still applies. Okay, here is my Lifetime Achievement Award, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so let me hide it for a second because this setup is a little bit weird. Okay, hang on. I actually forgot to set the winner. Okay, here we go. Can you believe this app was actually created just 3 hours before I started streaming? Okay, the winner of my Lifetime Achievement Award is a tablet, or a set of tablets actually. No surprise who it's going to come from. But it is, it's the Wacom SD series. So not everyone knows what this tablet is, so I'm going to show you some pictures, okay? But before I do, I just want to explain what you need to know about this tablet. First of all, these tablets came out in like, I think 1987, okay? Or maybe 1985. I don't think he was in Caligula, Yafo. I think there was a was it Malcolm McDowell was in Caligula? Which I've never seen, by the way. And Supergirl? Oh, that'd be interesting. I have to look that. I'll look that one up. Okay, so the SD series. Why this tablet came out in 1987, and why it's got the Lifetime Achievement Award is pretty simple, or the set of tablets. Wacom even said this. You know, Wacom this past year was like their 40th year anniversary, and in one of their documents they said every modern Wacom tablet, like all the tablets that you know now or have known for a while, is based off the technology in this tablet. It is the grandfather. It is the Adam or Eve of or whatever the equivalent would be in other mythologies. It is the origin point of all Wacom technology, drawing tablet technology. Okay? And I want to show, I took some pictures of it, and I streamed about it some time ago, but thanks to Cube's prodding, I bought one on eBay a few years ago. This is the Wacom SD510C, which this is what it looks like in the box. It looks like what you'd get photocopier paper in. This is what it comes like. Okay? And I want to show you the actual thing, so give you a second. Yeah, hang on. Okay, so wait a second, almost. Right. Okay, we're almost there. Super Digital, yeah, SD stands for Super Digital. So take a look at this. So this is what it actually looks like. Now there's a cable that's not connected to the computer, but so you see what is a normal tablet. Like for all our eyes show you a tablet looks completely average. Like you would never notice anything unusual with the tablet itself. You're wondering about the box, okay? So we'll talk about the box in a second, but just take a look at the tablet, and what you'll notice is there's nothing really, besides the fact that it has that kind of beige color that was popular in the 80s for equipment, there's nothing really surprising about it, okay? It's thin, it's sturdy as hell. Like, you will not be able to bend this. You will not be. We will talk about the brick too. Like you would not believe how tough this is. And then I have some other photos here. Give me a second. So yeah, I'll just take a look at this. One more thing: the cable is attached to the tablet. You cannot remove the cable. Back then, we didn't have USB. We did not have USB-C, so that was a 90s thing. Okay, and this is an SD501C, right? And this is, I don't know what this material is. It's like felt, some kind of felt. It's soft on the back, and they're real screws. See, and there's screws everywhere, right? You cannot take this apart. And I actually I couldn't use this because it uses goes through a serial port. I wasn't set up to do that. But yeah, there's how the cable connects. This is what you can thank for giving us Wacom tablets. This is the original thing. And you're wondering about that brick. that brick, which I photographed from multiple sides, the tablet's not heavy. It's a little heavier than what you're used to, but not super heavy. Yeah, and Cube says it right. The reason the tablet is thin is that today the brains of the tablet, the electronics, are in the tablet. It didn't used to be that way with this tablet. Now, not all of the SD series were like this. Some of them were much thicker, apparently. But this one, the brains of the tablet were in that box, okay? And this box, let me move forward here. Yeah, look, this part is a serial cable that goes to your computer, and there's power. And then this is the front of the box, okay? So it actually has an on-off switch. This goes to the tablet and some buttons. And there's some switches in the back. I don't know if I took photo, or somewhere there's switches. I don't know if I took photos of them. Dip switches, I think, which lets you like configure this box to change how the tablet behaves. So yeah, this is, this is not the Intuos One. The Intuos One actually came after this. But I just wanted to show this to you because like a couple of things, which is, let me go back to the earlier pictures for a second. Like really, if you looked at it and you didn't see the box, it looks pretty cool, right? There's nothing about this which looks unusual or weird, right? And I actually kind of dig the design, honestly. You could probably put this in front of somebody, and I don't even know if, I'm not even sure they could tell you it's old. Besides, the color might give it that hint, right? So maybe one day I will actually try this and test it out on stream. I showed it on stream, but I never actually used it. But this is it. This is my lifetime achievement because if we didn't have this tablet, we wouldn't have Intuos Pros or anything that we have today, right? Let's see. If Wacom somehow wants to make the next gen Intuos Pro more compact, this is what they do. 3 Polygon says, I carried the Wacom One to work every day. Not so, yeah, it wasn't heavy. Because things got better and more miniaturized as time goes on, right? Yeah, you're right, 3 Polygon. This is earlier than the Wacom Intuos One. Intuos Ones actually just look like normal tabs. They just look a little, I don't know, not quite as slick as Intuos 2 and 3, right? So this is, I can show you a picture of Intuos One, but this is it. This is the origin of the EMR technology in the modern form that's used in drawing tablets. So I just want to recognize this, and you know I give Wacom all sorts of, let's see, you have to unscrew the panel and the brick to get to the dip. That's right, that's right. That's another thing I think I'll point out here is the manual here. Let me show it to you real quick. It's worth seeing. Do I have the manual? Yeah, it's actually interesting seeing what's in the manual. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm not gonna make you read or anything. I just want to show you. What the hell? Oh, I know. So I need to unzip this. And what I'm going to show you is WT is 1993, SD is 1998, UD is 1993, and Intuos One is 1998. Okay, so this is 1998. I was off by a year. Okay, I'm going to show you first of all, the user manual is pretty thick. Like, we don't even have user manuals today the same way. What they have is like a getting started guide that tells you how to connect the darn thing. But look at this. I love this. The Wacom Advantage, right? It actually talks language in these manuals very different back in the 80s, right? And it's teaching you about words like the host computer, 1983 for WT. And I'm gonna just, I'm gonna copy this text. I do want to reuse this text somewhere else. Give me a second. Let me open up a notepad. I'll make sure I note this down correctly. Yeah, it's a sheet of paper now. Back then, you got something to read. Because remember, back then, if you bought a device like this, I mean, I'm sure graphic artists use this, but like, you were like expected to know a lot about technology in some ways, as primitive as it was. So, and you'll see that in here. because you'll see what they don't explain now in modern. Okay, so take a look at this. They explain how to pronounce Wacom, right? They really focus on the cordless aspect, right? Because this was new. This is not common to be cordless. For us, it's normal, but like back then, I'm talking like these people are like from the 1800s or something. I just so everyone knows, in 1988, I was 17. Okay, just keeping it real there. So they actually explain concepts. Like they had to tell you what a tablet was. They had to say the word cursor. People had never even heard the word cursor before. Okay? And this is stuff they'd never explain to you these days. Right? And this is the family of tablets. This thing is big. Like, you know how I talked the Intuos 4 XL is big? This is like a whiteboard, okay? It's much more massive than you'd realize. Let's see. I'm trying to find those dip switches. Oh yeah, they're the dip switches. So you were expected to know what these things did and change the tablet behavior, right? And they told you how the technology worked, right? You'll never see this. Let's see if there's anything else interesting here. Yeah, okay, and here's the dip switches. And I don't know what these things do. Like, you'd have to really know. Now, they put it in the back, you have to unscrew the cover, so obviously they didn't expect everyone to know. But my point is, again, this is a user manual for this thing. Right? They even have this digitizer circuit, which I think I love. Just because like you'd never expect it with a modern tablet. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. It's a very different world back then in the 80s. Okay, so I think we concluded our show, but I'll hang on for a while and we'll do a little bit of chat. I'll go through the comments. Let's see. Many years ago, the USB was worse than that PS2 port, or serial in some cases, but USB has since far surpassed it. So there's not much use for gamers. Got it. I didn't know that actually. When I was explained what USB was, it was always just explained as like superior. But I definitely had, my first Wacom tablet was a serial port device. MemoDraw, yeah, I agree with you. Wacom should indeed make Intuos Pro and Pro Pen special editions with many different colors. Absolutely, I agree. You know what? Actually, you saw that box, right? If I ever built a drawing tablet, I would want a box. It wouldn't be needed the same way. I would want a box. I'm not joking, by the way. I'm absolutely not joking about this. I would want a box there to make you feel like you were using something powerful, and it would actually do something functional. Here's what it would do. The box would have dials, even though it's totally unnecessary, okay? It would have dials to control like the pressure curve. And it'd have an OLED display showing you the pressure curve, okay? And it would have diagnostics. You could like put it into like a self-test mode. Or, you know what I'm saying? You could probably calibrate it and it would even show you the actual pressure response curve. Or something like that. It would let you increase the IAF. There'll be a dial for that. It would let you decrease the max force, right? All done in the box. It would, what's the other thing? Actually, you know what would be fun? If it had a dial to let you quantize the pressure. So you could select how many pressure levels, like 8,000, 4,000. So then you'd learn how little you'd need. I'm just making up stuff now. It would give you a live display on that screen of the position of the pixel, like the position it's reading the pen at. Like, it would make you feel powerful to use it. You'd feel special. So I'd really lean into it. Summa Graphics was the largest thing. Yeah, they had large, because those are people like digitizing, like architects or something. If you use the Cube TD, oh, that's right. With this tablet, there's a recommended dip switch settings guide for the highest performance. Perfect. Okay. There was a debate about the USB versus PS2. Interesting. Hey, I think Canvas Pro 19 won last year. So, I mean, it's not like I've been mean to it. Imagine potentiometers to control the tablet area. Oh, I love that. I love that idea. See, you want to give people the sense that they are in control and have power, okay? And that they're doing something special and they're part of, you want a user to feel, at least in this case, I want to appeal to a set of users that are like, they want to feel like they're elite. And if you feel like you're elite, you have special elite tools that normies don't have. And that box is the secret. You don't need it. But it is functional, and it would make you feel like, you're in control, right? Because no normal user would use it. I wonder if you could just make something like that to work with OTD. Cube, can you answer that? Is that possible? Like if I use Cube TD, would it just... That would do it, right? Does that make it work with OTD? That's what it does. I think you're talking about the Canvas Pro 19. I think it should get something like the best mid-price range Pro tablet. Yeah, that's fair. 3 Polygon says my ideal tablet would have a coffee heater to keep it warm on a super large bezels. Tara says I'm still waiting for a 1.5 kilogram 16-inch 60x10 QHD with touch controls. So the Cintiq 16 actually meets that for you, right? Except it doesn't have touch. That's the only thing it's missing, I think. Currently, OTD does not support serial tablets and CubeTDs. Oh, okay, got it. I think in my head, I sort of interpreted CubeTD as a kind of like a plugin kind of that enabled it to work with OTD. So serial support is something we want. Really? That's interesting. I wonder who's asking for it. Okay, I think we've had a great session. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the app we used to do this. And like I said, I will follow up with a poll to do the user's choice, and we'll cover that separately in another stream, one of my tablet and chill streams. In the meanwhile, we have, it's the 6th, so we only have a couple of weeks left until the year ends. We will do a related sort of, I'll have some streams as the year ends and begins next year. We'll probably do a year in review, more kind of just, tablet and chill streams. Tomorrow I might stream on the UGM 908. We'll sit and chat. In the meanwhile, if we need to cover a special topic, we'll do that. One special one that is coming up is the Huion Canvas Pro 24 Gen 3. I just got an email from Huion last night or this morning. It is on its way. It just shipped. So I'm expecting it in a week, which is pretty typical for ship times that I see from Huion. So maybe next Friday or Saturday, I'll do a live stream where we'll unbox and test the Canvas Pro 24 Gen 3. And okay. And with that, we're going to have more streams. And I want to thank you. This has been a fun little event. And I will see you all soon. Thanks, everyone, for your engagement. Thanks for your interest. And I'm going to put the link in the Discord. If anyone already isn't there, please take a look. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.